I'm not wearing hockey pants. Want to know how I got these scars? Masterpiece. Hey filmmaker, this is 2008's biggest movie, The Dark Knight. A film that was made for $185 million and that grossed over $1 billion at the box office. It's the movie that made all film studios sit up, take note and decide, hey, the next 15 years worth of cinema is going to be nothing but superhero movies. Variety. Yay! But despite its huge success and launching Christopher Nolan's directing career into the stratosphere of I can make whatever blockbuster I want for any amount of money type of film, there's a technical in the first 5 minutes. Did you spot it? Don't worry if you didn't. I'm going to walk you through it and more like it as we talk about the biggest beginner filmmaker fails that big budget Hollywood movie directors still do too. Now the other day I was scrolling through YouTube looking for video ideas when it struck me that when it comes to videos on beginner filmmaker mistakes, there's a whole lot of them out there. Great, I thought. Since there's so many videos like that out there already, I don't need to make one. I can have the week off. Oh, then it occurred to me that although there's some great advice out there on beginner filmmaker mistakes, there wasn't very much out there on the universal mistakes that can happen to any filmmaker, from beginner to Hollywood professional. And if we know what these professionals do in a moment of mistakery, that's right, I just made up a word, you're welcome English language, then maybe it can make us all more comfortable with the idea that mistakes just can happen. And it's how we react to them that matters most when making our own movies. So here are 3 of the worst beginner filmmaker fails that Hollywood professionals still do too, and how they react to them. 1. Time pressures. There are always time pressures on a film set, and nearly all of them are linked with running over budget, because on a film set, time is money. Whether that's renting gear, paying cast, paying crew, or the pressure to deliver the film to a certain deadline. This explains such fudgery as the Starbucks cup in one of the final episodes of Game of Thrones, which I'm still hoping gets its own spin-off series. The need to deliver that final series by a deadline and to wrap up so much of the story led to a fair bit of criticism about the general decline of the show's production standards and story quality too. And the straw that broke the camel's back being a Starbucks cup right on the table at a banquet in a fantasy medieval land. They didn't have Starbucks then. Medieval coffee probably tasted like Now this kind of thing happens all the time. Gladiator won Best Film at the Oscars, and there's a shot in there of a gas canister on the back of a chariot. They didn't have gas canisters back then. The only place you could find pressurised gas was in a Roman bathroom. On a short film I was making, I once shot for 20 minutes with a whole bunch of camera gear cases still in frame. And it was a time pressure that made me do this. It was because it was the last shot of the day and there wasn't another day in the schedule to shoot this scene. And it wasn't just me, no one else on the crew noticed either. Fortunately, I finally did notice, the cases were removed and we finished the scene. But I've always remembered that particular instance when setting up a shot. And touch wood, I haven't done it since. And this is an easy enough mistake to avoid. And all it takes is before you say action is to give someone on crew the responsibility of shouting, check the frame, to which the response would be, frame is clear. And this goes for boom mics or crew that are accidentally in shot or whatever it might be. That brings us to number 2, human error. We're all human, we all make mistakes, and when you multiply those mistakes by how many humans there are at any one time on a film set, somebody's bound to do something wrong by accident at some point. Remember the T-Rex scene in Jurassic Park, the first one? Yes, this is my T-Rex impression. Where the T-Rex smashes the glass of the car's sunroof in order to try and get at the kids. That was a movie fail. Yep, the animatronics person got a little bit overzealous. That's still a T-Rex, isn't it? The animatronics operator got a little bit overzealous with the T-Rex controls and broke the glass when they weren't supposed to. Steven Spielberg kept that take in the movie because the reaction from the children was so genuine. So I guess the lesson to learn from this mistake is, when filming children, scare them genuinely for better results. No, I think it's more a case of keep the camera rolling in the event of any mistakes or accidents that occur on screen, because you never know what footage you might get and how useful that might be to your movie. For instance, I had the police show up at one of my film sets because I neglected to inform the neighbourhood that there was a fight scene being filmed outside of my house. Which is funny because I thought all the lights and cameras and someone shouting action and cut several times during the afternoon might have been a bit of a giveaway. My bad. What was even funnier is that actual scene I was shooting ended with police arriving to arrest the people having a fight. I just hadn't worked out how to get that police part on film as yet. But when the real police showed up halfway through, I got so flustered with what I had to do next in order to manage the situation that I committed the cardinal sin. I turned off the camera. In fairness, it is a crime to waste police time, so I would never encourage anyone to try and trigger a response from the police just so you can capture the footage. That's a terrible idea. Please follow that advice, that it's a terrible idea. The police did actually give me some great information, which was a telephone number that I could call anytime I was going to shoot something that might look a bit dodgy and like criminal behaviour. So they would have it on reference should anyone give them a call. And I did find a workaround in the end for that scene that didn't actually require having any police element to it. However, had I actually kept the camera rolling, there's no particular telling whether or not I would have used that footage. I would have had to have seen what it looked like. But I might have done. Again, it is a crime to waste police time. I can't emphasise that enough. And finally, number 3, technical fails. Here's a scene I shot that took around 2 hours to capture. Actually, scrap that. This is the reshoot, which fortunately only took about 15 minutes. The reason that it's a reshoot is that the original shoot was horribly out of focus. The problem with this shoot is I had no monitor, and although I believed I'd measured the distance correctly and got it checked before I hit the record button, I screwed up. And again, going back to that time element, I was so focused on getting the actual shoot done in the time that I had, I didn't go back, I didn't check, and I ended up wasting everybody's evening. And I had to call everyone up and get them to come round again to reshoot the scene. But guess where this has happened to? That's right, on Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight, when Heath Ledger takes off his clown mask to reveal himself as the Joker for the very first time, that shot is out of focus. It's slight, but it is there. Now, Christopher Nolan has spoken about this openly. This was the first time he or his cinematographer had used an IMAX camera, and they were literally reading through a manual the size of a breeze block to work out how to operate the thing. And so mistakes were made, and there was a fairly steep learning curve, and Ledger's face was out of focus for the shot. Nolan called Ledger up to organise a reshoot, but this got Ledger worried that his performance had been a little bit over the top. It's the first time he had showed anybody this version of the Joker, and they wanted to reshoot it. Nolan managed to persuade Ledger that it was his bad and it was a technical glitch due to the fact that they had never used this camera before, and that kind of settled Ledger's nerves in terms of how he was performing as the Joker. However, in the edit, Nolan decided that the completely unabashed performance of the original take, even though it was slightly out of focus, was the better take and used it in the movie. So I guess some moments are better half preserved than others in full clarity. So it doesn't matter how experienced you are on a film set, there are always going to be new challenges and obstacles to overcome and new things to learn. And even simple mistakes can happen to the most experienced of filmmakers. But if you can admit to what you know and what you don't, then your film crew is going to know what to expect of you and what you expect from them. Filmmaking is part technical science, but at the heart of it is a creative process where mistakes don't always have to lead to disaster. They can actually help make the unexpected happen. Embrace that and your film is going to have a much better chance of making it through the production process. And if you take nothing else from this video, take this. Christopher Nolan also has to read an instruction manual to use a new camera. And you can shoot a performance out of focus, and that performance can go on and win Oscar for Best Actor. So when it comes to mistakes, don't be too hard on yourself. As long as you prepare thoroughly for a shoot, it's not the fails that matter. It's how you make them work to your advantage that can define the filmmaker you want to become. If you found this video useful or helpful in any way, please hit the like button. And for more blood, sweat and duct tape filmmaking tips and tricks, from that first great idea all the way through to shooting, cutting and distributing your movie, click on one of the videos on your screen now. I'll be in one of those. I'll see you there. Thanks for watching, filmmaker.